Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our special Sci-Fi Vision coverage of the Institute, otherwise known as the Institute Investigators. I'm not sure what we're investigating, but that's what Jamie called it. So,
hi, everybody. Welcome. AJ, I know you read the book, right? You've read the book.
Yes.
You're the only one among us who've read the book. So I think all I really know about it is what you've told me, which is a little bit. It's really long. Actually, 600-ish pages is not that long.
Yeah, it's not that long. It's not. It's not that long. Pretty straightforward. Honestly, it's when I read it, I wasn't like, "Ooh, I can't wait till they make this into a TV show one day." But like, it's a good book. It's a good story, but it's not something that is it's not that deep. Not like Resident Alien.
Oh, that was pretty deep. Well, that was pretty deep this week. It was. And this, hey gang in the chat. Hey Muncher Luncher. Hey Kelly. Jamie is supposed to be here by now. She should be here in a second.
She just texted again.
So.
Oh no, that was you.
Jamie, I said, "OMG, Jamie." This is a pretty newish Stephen King book too. The internet tells me it came out in 2019.
Is that when it? I don't remember when anything comes out. It comes out, I read it, and then
Yeah. So maybe as we go through this in the next couple of weeks, you can, let us know where things are similar to the book or different, or so far is it pretty similar?
Yeah, I mean the first two episodes. I mean it's pretty similar so far.
Yeah. So, so setting the book aside, what did you think of these so far about the show?
It's funny. A lot of time, sometimes I wish they didn't do these 2-episode premieres because then we got twice as much to watch. But it's set up. It's these kids get kidnapped and now they're trying to figure out how to escape.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're either telekinetic, telepathic, and there's some other things which they haven't really established what they're talking about yet. Like they call it TK, TP, and was it PC? PC, right? And PC, which they didn't really explain what that was.
No, we had some guests. So I sat in on Jamie and Scarlett's deep dive last night, and I chatted in the chat with folks, and we had some speculation on what that can mean, which I thought, could that mean precognition? But it hasn't been revealed yet, so we'll see what that is.
I know what it is, but
you know what it is. I thought that the show was good enough that I would watch more. Right? It's only 8 episodes. 8 or 10. I thought it was like really.
No, I don't even know.
It's either 8 or 10. I forget. I asked last night, and Jen, the teacher, replied, and I forget if she said it was 8 or 10. I could probably Google that while we're talking. It's short. I thought it was good enough that I'm interested to watch more, but I also was surprised, like, how this seems to be familiar territory. Like, I feel like I've seen a lot of shows about kids with powers or people with powers, but especially kids who are captured and put in a government lab and it experimented on. It seemed like a very well-worn territory. And even for King, who wrote Firestarter, right?
Yeah.
So
try again, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, I'm trying to figure out which one is
too much AJ.
Yeah, I don't know. Make me the stage. Maybe have to take you off a second.
Off the stage, we can't.
There you go. Sorry, got it.
I just really thought, AJ, that it was familiar territory and that I've seen this show before and that I've seen Stephen King write it better with Firestarter. And that these kids have strangely very weak powers, which I kind of assume have to get stronger. Otherwise, this is a dumb show about, we were joking last night in the deep dive, the strongest kid can throw a glass of water on you. Right. And Scarlett was like, well, I can tip over a glass of water with my hand. Their powers are not very impressive. at this point.
Well, and that's the thing, that they keep kidnapping kids till they find ones that are.
Yeah, I'm not sure if these experiments are designed just to test them, if the experiments are designed to like manifest their powers with drugs or with abuse or whatever it is they're doing here. But I thought, so these are really not, these are the weakest powers of any one of these shows that I've seen. And so I'm assuming that's going to change. So yeah, I thought it was okay, good enough to keep watching, but it wasn't like the From pilot or the Lost pilot or certain shows that I'm like, oh my God, I have to watch that again. Oh my God, I have to see the next episode.
Like Revival.
Yeah, this is not, this didn't grab me in that way, but it's good enough, is what I thought. Hey, Jamie, what was your,
I mean, I really like the show, and I do think it starts out a little bit slow. I'll admit that, but I think it's fun. I mean, it's not a huge mystery like From or anything, but I think as long as you aren't expecting it to be the next From, it's good and it's enjoyable. And overall, I enjoyed the series. I just think it did start slightly slow, but I think most people that didn't like it, it's because they were expecting something different than what they got.
I think when you put Stephen King's name on it, that you're expecting more than what we got.
That's true. That's fair.
I mean, they are advertising it hard from Stephen King. It's not like other shows we watched where Stephen King didn't want his name associated with it, right? This is
definitely, I wouldn't consider horror necessarily.
And that's not only Stephen King, but they're also like from director Jack Bender,
Yeah, it's partially the way they advertised it, which I think was I mean, like, I get why they did, but yeah, then people are disappointed if they're expecting something that isn't there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really agree with Kelly, who says, I thought it looked like it has potential. Definitely, that's how I felt after 2 episodes. It has potential. I want to keep watching. I just wasn't like mind blown. I just wasn't like, I cannot miss the next episode. And I think we agree with you too, Muncher. I agree 100% with Jamie. People expect it to be the second coming of Lost. I'm like, bruh, chill. I can't even pronounce bruh. My nephew says it all the time. And I know they say it in Hawaii. But I do think when you advertise things as from the director of Lost, then maybe people expect it to be the next Lost, right?
No. Yeah, I think that was part of the problem.
Of course, that's on the marketing department. That's not on the creative team who made this show. That's a marketing decision made in a different department, after it's. But I think when you say from Stephen King, from Jack Bender, the director of Lost, you're setting up an expectation there.
Yeah, and I think that's.
Sorry, I didn't hit save. That's my fault.
I think that's part of the problem, because I think a lot of people they hear Stephen King, Jack Bender, and people immediately are like, "Oh my God, can't wait to see this!" And it's like, Jack Bender has a history of doing puzzle box shows. He's part of From. He was part of Lost, and Jack Bender has a larger resume than that. That is not puzzle box. That's more like this, like The Institute. Where it's a little more straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, people with power. It's genre, it's and I don't think we're trying to say that it was bad or we didn't like it. And
no, not at all.
I do understand. I mean, I agree that people are always like looking for the second coming of Lost. There are threads and threads and threads on Facebook. And they're like, "Oh, I just watched Lost. What should I watch next?" And I'm like, I don't know. Go on Netflix. Fringe, yeah. But there was the marketing department puts a high expectation on it, and we'll see. Will it live up to that? Nothing will, but it was good. It was pretty good, and I guess we're going to dive into it.
Yeah, I was just going to say the one thing I don't understand, and this is just my own thoughts, is a director though doesn't necessarily. I mean, the director fixes or kind of, I guess, decides the tone in a sense. But I feel like if the script is not the same kind of show, it's never going to match it no matter what the director does. So
absolutely. Yeah.
The same writer as who, the same creator as From or Lost, then I'd maybe understand it. But he's but I guess he's also executive producer. So
he is. I mean, the Bender directed it, but he's also an EP. Stephen King is an EP, right? And I don't really know who the writers are, but at any rate, I mean, this kind of bedeviled a lot of other certain creators, certain shows. The guys who created Benioff and Weiss, who created Game of Thrones, or Damon Lindelof, or Carlton Cuse. This, like, you become famous for a show, and that sort of haunts you and bedevils you for a while. And then people like the leftovers. Bleh.
I wasn't that negative about it. I just didn't get into it.
Yeah. Anyway, let's jump into it because there was kind of a bunch to talk about. It's not like the puzzliest show, but I have questions after these 2 episodes. There are like questions for me that I want to see answered next week, hopefully. Right. Or towards and some of it is just the Stephen Kinginess of it all, right? But some of it maybe is like important points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not going to obviously go through a full recap because we did do that last night for anybody who wants to see the stream, but we'll kind of go through big points, I guess. But I did want AJ, the one thing I feel like I couldn't do with the breakdown is relate to the Stephen King parts. So I would like to know some of the things that you felt kind of connected it to other like Stephen King books in other parts of the universe. Because I know there were a couple Easter eggs, but beyond like the poster, I really don't necessarily recognize anything. So I was just kind of curious, do you feel like this could potentially connect to other universes? I mean, I don't know if there's other institutes that we were talking about. Maybe there's an institute that has Firestarter in it. Who knows? I forget who said that. Somebody in the chat last night said that. I don't know. How does it connect to these universes? That's what I had wanted to
if it does at all.
It's connected by the fact that Stephen King wrote it. That's the extent of it. I mean, they might have thrown some there's some Easter eggs in there, like the poster, little things like that. But as far as the grand scheme of the Stephen King universe, it's just a standalone story. A lot of the same towns mentioned that he's written about for 50 years, but it's its own story. And not every Stephen King story is connected in every which way. I mean, out of God, I don't even know how many books he's written at this point. He's probably written like 80 books, because it seems the last couple of years, the older he gets, the more books he writes. I feel like in the last year we've had 3 books. I could be wrong about that number, but it sure feels that way. But
I can't finish one.
I don't know exactly. I'd say he's probably written about between 70 and 80 books, and out of those 70 and 80, I'd say maybe half, probably a little less, are actually connected to each other, but they're the mainstream ones that everybody knows. The Dark Tower series is 7 books alone, plus a couple other little books that are connected to it. And then there's other stories that connect to the Dark Tower or have mentions of the Dark Tower in the story, like Insomnia is connected to it. Black House and the Talisman are connected to it. So there's other stories that are connected through the Dark Tower, but a lot of stories just, they are what they are. I mean, there's a connection to it and a Dreamcatcher, because they go through the town of Derry, stuff like that. But most of his books are just,
standalone, right? They're all standalone. Yeah. And I think when we watched Castle Rock, there was like maybe a couple connections to some other King stuff.
Well, Castle Rock was different. That was, other people other than Stephen King who had a good idea and failed at it. They took characters from the Stephen King universe and they kind of, took some side characters and told broader stories. But by season 2, which season 1 I thought worked, season 2, I feel like they kind of, it was like, wait, we already know where this character ends up. How did you do this?
Yeah. So that was a big question, as Jamie mentioned. For those of us in the chat last night in the deep dive are not students of King or have not read a lot of King or any King, and have seen only some of the movies. So thanks for that.
I'm sorry, Muncher. Season 1 of Castle Rock was good. The ending was a little questionable of season 1, but season 2, parts of it were good and parts of it were downright awful. Sorry, I wasn't surprised it was canceled, which is a shame because it was J.J. Abrams brought it to us.
Yeah.
All right. First disagreement.
Karen's laughing because you agree with me. What are you laughing at?
I do. I'm just laughing at our first disagreement of the evening. And Muncher says, fair enough, AJ. Muncher says, haha, fair enough, AJ.
I think sometimes the shows start well, and then I think they let the other people take over, and it doesn't always.
All right, well, let's talk about this show that we're here for tonight.
Yeah. Hey, Jennifer. I wanted to know though, like, what do you guys think about? I don't know. I feel like I like this show a lot, but part of the disconnect sometimes I think is like because it's sort of a younger group. I don't know. Like I don't know, because the overall the main characters are like younger. So sometimes I'm like, I feel like maybe I'm not I don't know, empathizing with them like I would. I don't know if that
can't relate. You can't relate because
quite to them like
you're
I would like to. And that's just my fault for being too old at this point.
No, I mean, I think it depends how they do that, because if you watch Firestarter, Drew Barrymore is like 9 years old in that movie.
Yeah.
And she's very, very relatable. Now, of course, her father also had powers and was imprisoned with her. And we had his always worrying about her as a reference point also. But I mean, if you watch that movie, you don't feel at all like you don't relate to this child, right? And George C. Scott was so creepy in that, right? And so
you know what it is. I think a lot of times with younger audience characters, I guess it depends on us how much we're still in touch with our child, our inner child, which I am right there still.
I mean, because the protagonists are young people, I see what you mean, Jamie, but then we had like creepos having sex in the closet, right? Like, this is not a YA show, right?
It's not.
No,
I guess
no.
sometimes through part of it, I feel myself being like, why don't you do this? And I know we do that with a lot of shows. I'm not saying we don't, but I have to like remind myself, well, they're not going to do that because they're a teenager and we're thinking it through an adult point of view.
Jamie, we say that about adults.
No, I know we do. That's
so
fair. But even though he's a kid, obviously he's a genius and he has a very high IQ, because he's taking tests with seniors. Now he's 14, I think he's
14. And actually, the funny thing about that, I'm watching it with Artie, and the whole time he's going, I can't buy that this kid is only 14. He's like, he looks too old.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So so that's what, 8th grade, I think.
I was in the 9th grade when I was 14.
Yeah,
but it could be in the
8th grade. 8th or 9th.
Okay. Now there's the first, I wouldn't call it Easter egg, but reference, because obviously she's from one of the few from. She's the one that had the rebar shoved through her head. So, now I did not, I guess, pick up on this the first time I watched it. The reason that he knew he wasn't in his own home because of his uniform. I missed that the first time I watched it. So
the hole in his uniform. You didn't catch the hole in the uniform?
The little hole, put him seeing that, and I don't know. I didn't, for whatever reason, didn't connect it the first time, but I'm glad that they added that. So, so what do you?
That's when the character knew instantly that it was fake.
Yeah. Yeah. But he has, to begin with, I was just going to say, he does have trouble connecting with other people, I think, because of his, his IQ and everything. Because even he seems like he's smarter than his parents. Do you guys feel like, I felt like in this scene when he was talking to them that he was a little, I'm going to say rude. I mean, he was a teenager, but like they're trying to do everything for him. And he's like, basically said, this place is too small for me and I need something better. That's kind of how I felt he acted in this scene.
Okay.
But that's the thing, it's for somebody of his stature, I think that's why, and maybe where you felt a disconnect, why he was having trouble talking to them, because he was trying to say it without insulting them,
Yeah.
and his father's a bit of a jerk. His father's a bit of a jerk and kind of pushes him, and he's like, I don't know how to say it, and his father's like, well, you better figure it out, you know. So his father kind of forced the issue.
He did, but you know. So I feel like every 14-year-old ever was pulling away from their parents and being a jerk and being ungrateful. And every 14-year-old ever thought their town was too small for them and they were going to go like, I don't know, live in New York City or in Venice or wherever and be, you know, like I thought he seemed very typically 14. Also, like, can you imagine being like the smartest person since you were a kid? And you know, you say his father was being a jerk. The guidance counselor was talking to the kid about MIT without talking to the parents. This kid who's like, and the father, if you caught, the father said, we're talking about uprooting our lives. They were if that kid goes to MIT, the whole family has to move to MIT. They're not sending a 14-year-old to live in a dorm with 21-year-olds by himself. The whole family's moving to MIT.
Fine.
For him to like go live there, right?
He's really smart.
So because he's emotionally and physically and in other ways not, you know, able to be in that environment. I mean, it is a big thing, and it's a thing that kids don't think through. And I don't think the father was being a jerk. And I'm really interested in the way that there are multiple shows that we're watching that you say fathers are being jerks, and I disagree with you. So we can talk about that some more tomorrow.
No, yeah,
You guys always say the father
about the fact they really don't have a choice, like that he's too young to send off. I didn't think about that. You're right.
He is. He's not going to MIT. He's 14.
A big difference too.
Doogie Howser went to MIT by himself.
In Disneyland. Come on, AJ.
That wasn't Disney, was it?
You're gonna send Damon to go live in a dorm with 21-year-olds women?
Damon's 11.
All right. Well,
there's a difference.
Yeah, he's a little bit young for that.
There's a big gap between 11 and 14.
I actually have my friend's daughter is a little bit older. She's 21 and she's going to be a freshman in college this fall because she spent some time out of the country and whatever. And the housing office told her at 21 that she can't live in a dorm with freshmen. That it's like inappropriate for her as a 21, almost 22-year-old woman to live among 18-year-olds, and she would live in like be in an apartment in an upperclassman kind of place. Like colleges do not put kids together like that anymore.
Yeah.
For good reason. Let's be honest. For good
anyway,
reason.
Yes, I didn't think the father was being a jerk. I thought like, oh my God, you expect us to quit our jobs and move to Cambridge so you can go to MIT and you not even talk to us about it? Like yeah,
he should have at least told them about it and not waited for the guidance counselor or the principal or whatever to let them know.
Yeah.
So,
but that's what I'm saying though. Like you can't tell him, hey, you better, you know, he's having a hard time discussing it because he clearly has a hard time talking to people in the first place. And his dad's basically, well, you better figure it out. And then when he tells him, the dad's like offended. That's how I took it.
Maybe the dad was shocked that this is the first time they've heard about MIT. I don't know. So we have a lot of comments about this in the chat. So Bill Chill thought it sounded like they were treating him like an experiment, like they're trying to live their dreams through him. I also felt like he's either adopted or a kidnapped baby.
Which if that's the case, Bill, he's kidnapped twice.
I kind of felt like he was adopted too, though, and I'm not sure why I felt that. Just something from the way the scene was played, maybe because they weren't so close. It felt like, you know, they were like, you know, because I kind of almost got that they're kind of like, we gave you, you know, the life and now you want to leave type of thing. I don't know. It sort of played that way, and I'm not sure what it was that made it play that way either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jen says 1000% agreed, Karen, and the parents didn't prompt him to help him at all. Didn't prompt him to help at all. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I just always like to put up a comment where someone agrees with me, and yeah, and the parents didn't prompt him at all. While Marjoram is here, hi. Who has
no vomit or ambulances tonight.
She's pretty sure Bob Munn is playing Frank from From. He played Frank on From, the guy that gets put in the box in the beginning, and is in this with the wife, and he's the guy trying to drive across the bridge, and they get turned away because it's the Institute. And she says that's how they get lost and find the tree with the crows and go to From.
That's
Yeah, that's what we were talking about last night. Now, let me ask you, AJ. I can't remember if you answered this or not last night, Karen, because I didn't get to talk to you directly a whole lot. But did you think that when that family, you said you didn't think it was his parents because of the daughter? I do remember that. AJ, when you saw later on the guy and the woman and the daughter get lost when they're driving down the road, did you think it was his parents at first? Because I thought that was the same actors, and I don't know why. It's like a lot of people did, and I think it's that the two men looked alike.
I don't know why. I have no idea why people thought that.
No.
Okay, well, I wasn't the only one, so I felt slightly less stupid because quite a few people.
They looked nothing like them.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it looked anything like them. And they had a daughter in the back seat who had never.
The daughter thing is why I realized. Oh wait, that's not them. But yeah, I don't know.
But we haven't really come to that yet.
No, I know. I just was saying that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you: whenever he moves the plate, did you get the opinion that he necessarily even realizes he's the one that's been doing it until later when they kidnap him? Because that to me wasn't clear, and I was kind of curious, like if he even realized it. Because he plays it off, but it was hard to tell. I was just curious how you guys took that.
I think he realized. I think he knew it, but he can't control it, and it just happens when he gets a little worked up. But there was no. I mean, later on, he says things move around me. Like later on in the episode or the next one, he said things move. He does know it.
I would just wonder if you'd tell yourself that you're like imagining it. You know.
No, I didn't think that was the case, but it was kind of obvious that he wasn't doing it. He was focused on this conversation, and it's rattling over here on the side, right?
Once he gets angry, and that's where we know that what was her name, Michelle, that she's watching as this is going down. I guess getting ready to grab him would be my thoughts there. Now we're also introduced to, I was going to call him Ben, Tim at this point. As he goes across to and ends up in Maine, of course. Yeah, it does look like a small piece of pizza, you're right. As he goes across to Maine. I'm kind of curious where he was intending to go, but I think he's still not over what happened, and that's why he ends up in this town to begin with. He, going for a different job than what he originally, because it sounds like it was for a job with somebody, and he's like, I'm not ready, and moving on. Yeah.
I mean, I think he's sort of a drifter, except most drifters, I don't think, fly, right? Like they take the bus like Jack Reacher. But, I mean, he boarded another plane. He got off that plane somewhere and then got in the car with this woman.
Yes. Hitchhiked with.
Yeah, but I agree. He's traumatized by what happened to him, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so he goes with this woman and ends up in Maine. And apparently, according to the book, I guess somebody had said last night in the chat, somebody else picked him up after, because we were kind of wondering that he seems to be just hitchhiking, but yet he hitchhiked to knowing where he was, trying out for a job. So he clearly had a destination in mind.
I mean, so I thought this was an awful lot of setup for a guy interviewing for a job. And like, I couldn't, like, if it just opened and this was a guy having a job interview, I could have totally like not needed to know about
we didn't need it. I agree. We didn't need it.
And I wondered like if this is the reason the book is 600 pages is like his writing in the car, the same as J.R.R. Martin describing every food at a dinner, or is she going to come back? Is this important? I don't know, but it seemed like a lot of setup that was maybe not necessary and will not really matter in the end. I don't know. AJ, is this part in the book with him getting in the car? Yes, yeah. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree, because we find out later about what happened that's made him, that he's still affected by the shooting and everything. So we really didn't even need him to be like, oh, I'm not going where I was planning on going. Now I'm going to hitchhike. Like, it was just kind of a waste. I mean, I didn't mind the scene, but I agree. I think it was.
Well, where he ends up wasn't his destination, his original destination. He just ended up there, and then he saw the ad for the Night Knocker, so he was like, huh.
Okay, see, that's what I was trying to see. So he didn't then intend to go here and had some.
It was just because that's where she dropped him off.
No, we saw him. He saw like a poster on a bulletin board at the school she was at. Wherever he went, where the last stop he made, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see. The last stop he makes with this woman, he sees a poster hanging up, a job advertisement, right? And
yeah, it seems kind of unlikely that you'd have like all your references of being a cop and everything with you, you know, to give.
I mean, they're on my resume in the cloud. My resume's in the cloud, and I can produce it for anyone on the spot. What is weird was that like they were this is the first of many anachronisms that I saw in these 2 episodes, that who advertises in any kind of printed piece of paper for a job anymore. Like I feel like the job market is like almost entirely online nowadays, unless you're hiring someone to like, I don't know. I see like ads, like posters that people are like a cleaning person, or they're moving, or they want to buy your house or whatever, right? But
probably
don't
not a cop.
really see. Well, it's not a cop; it's a security job.
No.
It's a security guard, but it's a municipal employee, and that the city would be hiring people with posters seemed very like 1979 to me, right?
Yeah.
And I just mention it because I'm gonna call out like 5 more things during the course of this conversation tonight.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. I agree with that. But before we get to him becoming the Night Knocker, let's go through some of this. So they fake his room, we know that, and we find out that he's in this institute, and they let everyone else, or they let
stop right there. When the team comes in and grabs him, and they spray Lucas and knock him out, right? And then he wakes up in his room. There was an instant there where I thought, oh my God, is he a precog? Did he foresee what is going to happen? And then almost immediately I said, oh no, this is a replica of his room. But when he wakes up, okay, AJ, you knew what was going to happen because you read the book. Jamie, what did you think in that moment where he first opens his eyes?
I remember wondering if it was in his room, but I'm not sure what it was that made me wonder that. Probably just because I've seen different shows and I've seen that happen before, not for any other reason than that. Yeah. But I liked the way they did it. I just didn't, like I said, I didn't pick up that he noticed the hole in his jersey. I missed that when I watched it the first time. But yeah, I just wonder like why or how did they like buy replicas of everything? Did they just take everything out of his room? Because I'm not sure how you would replicate everything exactly without somebody noticing. But I guess he's also smart, so maybe normal people wouldn't notice. But if you're a genius kid, you would notice the little details. I don't know.
I would notice. I've been sleeping in my bedroom for 20 years, and I would notice probably things that were different about it if I wake up tomorrow and things were different. I assume they replicated I thought they've been surveilling him for a while. They've probably been sneaking into the house when the family's not home, taking photographs and getting all this set up. And they mentioned that they had been watching him, but when MIT came up, they had to move quickly and snatch him sooner than they planned.
Yeah, because he was going to be in the news in a lot when this 14-year-old kid suddenly going to MIT.
Yeah, and if I can go back for just a second, Kelly says, small town though, you would see ads like that here. I guess Kelly lives in a small town and feels like you might see a job ad on a billboard is likely in some places. I live in a kind of big city, so yeah, I wouldn't see that. But thank you for that.
I would say it's job notices. I just didn't know if you would for like the kind of job that he had, because it was like. Yeah.
And Kelly thinks where she lives, you would. So, Jamie, you also live close to a very big city.
Yeah, well, I live in a small town, but yes, I do live near a city. But yeah, I don't know. I could see it just for that specific job. I thought it was a little surprising. And Scarlett was saying about scratching Ben's back. Yes, we all like Ben Barnes. So I lost my picture here. Wait a second. Okay, so he kind of figures out, they have him talk to Kalisha, this girl. And no, I still don't know what her shirt says past what we looked up last night. So they kind of changed their MO of the way they brought him in. They first have her talk to him, and then they actually talk to him a lot quicker, I guess, than they normally did, because he was smart and he knew more of what questions to ask, and they didn't need to make them wait around and wander trying to figure things out like they normally do with the kids. They approached them different. So I thought that was kind of interesting and was a way that we kind of got up to speed really quick. Although I wonder if maybe it would have been nice to be a little confused a little bit longer. I don't know, because I guess we know that it's about this institute. So I don't know if you need that. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Or did any of that not make any sense, what I just said? I feel like it kind of went in a circle.
I mean, you feel like they don't usually have a kid greet the kid?
No, they said that usually they have the kid explain it to them so they feel, I guess they feel safer or whatever, that they usually don't let them meet the bosses right away, but they took him in a lot quicker because he was already asking questions and wanting to know why. And I just said that was kind of an interesting way to do it, because in a way it got us up to speed quicker about what was going on. But I almost wonder if it would have been more fun as a viewer to feel more out of sorts for a while. I don't know. That's why I'm just like curious, because something like, say, From, like, it took a while to kind of understand what was going on, and it had more of that mystery. Like this, they sort of answered it really quickly. And I don't know whether it would have been too long if they didn't, or I don't know if it was just right, or maybe they should have gone the other way. I was just curious what you thought, if that makes sense what I'm saying. So let us longer not understanding where he was and what was going on as viewers.
Oh, that it's a device to keep the reader or the viewer in the dark a little longer.
Yes.
No, I don't think so. I think Stephen King probably wrote it because he thinks that's what they would do. And no, I don't think it was.
I don't know. In a book would be a different case, though, too. Was there more of, in the book, AJ, did it take longer for you to figure out what was going on than it did in the show, or was it kind of the same?
Whoops. No, okay. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay, that's fine. I just curious because I think it might have added more of a mystery element, but I don't know. It might have made it feel even slower. I really don't know.
I mean, what struck me more about the scene is how instantly I did not like Kalisha and continued to not like her through the entire 2 episodes. And
why?
I don't know. I'm suspicious of her. Look, we discussed a little bit last night. I think you can't trust all these kids. One of these kids is a rat. One of these kids is going to tell, maybe is telling, maybe spying on the others. When these kids supposedly you only stay in, what do they call it, front half for like their 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that. So you might only look like Lucas overlapped with Iris for 1 day. Like he could come and go and Kalisha still be there, or they could reintroduce her every 2 weeks to someone as a student or whatever, right? Like, I don't know. I just don't like her. I just don't like her. She rubs me the wrong way. I don't know if it's the actress. I don't know if it's the character. I don't know if it's the direction, the delivery, but I don't like her. I don't hate her. I just don't like her and don't trust her. But I maybe don't trust anybody except Lucas right now.
That's interesting because I did not think about the fact of that there could be a spy until you said that last night. I just kind of assumed that all the kids are in the same boat, but I could see how you could see that once I heard you talking about it, because that is kind of the odd thing that they don't get to ever escape, partially just because they don't see each other long enough to really, plan anything. It's kind of hard when you only know somebody for 12, 13 days, whatever. And I'm also not sure what the whole make out with him was even the point, trying to
we went over this multiple times last night. She says she's trying to pass chickenpox to him.
Yeah, so if really think that's the case is what I'm saying. I don't know if I feel like that was really.
She does not appear to have the chickenpox right now, right?
No,
but she says she's trying to pass that she was exposed to chickenpox, and if she can pass it to him, he might stay longer in front half.
Yeah,
she says it multiple times. I mean, that's her stated intention.
Yes, but I'm saying I don't know that I buy that, so I'm not sure I get the motivation because I don't buy that. But I don't know that necessarily to me makes her suspicious. I don't know.
I can see where Karen's coming from. It's definitely. I definitely see where Karen's coming from.
There's no way one of these kids doesn't rat them out to Sigsbee so she can go psycho on them, or ear clip doctor, or Tony, sadistic Tony. I just feel like there's no way we get through this whole episode without them being found out, probably by another kid. That also is a tradition of all these shows. That one kid either, this is like when Cho Chang gets like tortured by Umbridge and she like rats on those guys, right? Like now she doesn't do it on purpose. They use a spell on her, but like I feel like I've seen this story a million times and there's always a kid that's going to tell on them.
Could be. Scarlett's talking about how, I don't know if you were there for when we said this, I think you were, but that when they're playing the basketball game that they're spelling out QZ, which is a rat. So maybe that's hinting at that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Hey, Lori.
Yeah, maybe that's foreshadowing that there's a rat.
Yeah, she also says maybe she just wants to make out with everybody. I kind of wondered if she wanted to make Nikki jealous was my other thoughts. So
that could be it. And like the first time she kisses Lucas, one of the Dr. Death, one of those guys comes by and is like, Kalisha, and like, you know, in a way that's like,
I mean, she's done it before.
Like he's not really admonishing her behavior, but he is kind of, right? Like maybe she has done it before. Maybe I don't see why is she doing it to make Nikki jealous? Nikki's not there. So he's not going to see it. So I don't think that was it. I mean, maybe she's acting out, but I don't, if you take her at her word, she's trying, and it's ominous, right? She's like, if I pass it to you, you can stay here longer. Well, why would he want to stay there longer? He wants to move through the program and get out, right?
Yeah. So if that is the case, clearly she doesn't really like maybe she's trying to believe that it's going to be a good thing, but she must not believe it 100% if she's doing that.
Jen has this. Jen mentioned this last night also, I think, in the Jamie. Jen mentioned it last night also. Like, does kissing him help her read him better? Because she's really not a very good mind. Like we've been through this also. Their powers are so weak and she's really can barely read minds. Does kissing him help her read him better? That's entirely possible.
Yeah. Maybe it brings thoughts to the forefront of your mind.
What thinks she is sus. She likes him and wants him to stay with her because she has been there a long time. Yeah, she could have been there longer than
she's licking his thoughts with her tongue. Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question. Well, first I got to say, holy shit, Fletch found us again. I thought he forgot where we were. Hi, Fletch.
Fletcher.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Taryn, because you just said that, why would he want to stay there longer? He wants to move through the program and get out and go home. Do you actually believe these people that kidnapped him?
I do not.
Okay. Do you believe going to the back? Do you think going to the back half is actually a good thing when nobody knows what happens in the back half?
No, I do not. But that is what they tell these kids, and some of them appear to believe it. Whether they're telling themselves that because
I don't think any of them believed it. Not the way they're acting.
They say it. They might not believe it. It appears that you might go to a crematorium when you go to back half. We don't really know. And yes, when she says you can stay here longer, I took it to mean so you don't have to go to this bad place, right? But I mean, this is what they're told, and this is what they profess to believe, the kids, right?
Yeah. Well, she's trying to, I guess, tell herself that though, because Nikki said she believes it, so she must not really believe it. Then I guess would be the answer to that. All right, so then we meet Sigsbee and Hendrix and okay, I'm looking at them small. I'm like, and Stackhouse. That isn't Stackhouse. That's so we meet the two of them there. So yeah, what do you think about them? I mean, I mean, obviously, yeah, I don't believe anything they say, and I think they're full of shit. They're most of it, but like I said, yeah, I kind of like the idea that they're having to change things up because he's smart, and it isn't they're changing their plan and not sure what to do through some of it because of that.
I mean, I kind of disagree a little bit. They're not changing their plan. He's going to go through the same system they all do.
Okay, they shortened their plan.
Sigsbee's like they just had to rush to kidnap him a little bit faster than they had planned. But Sigsbee's got a file on him. She appears to be the only person who's read it. and she knows exactly what to expect from Lucas. She's like, yes, he's going to ask a lot of questions. Yes, this like she knows what to expect from him. She's not these other two who don't read the paperwork, whatever, right? That's how I took it. I think I didn't take it that Sigsbee was necessarily like, oh no, what do we do with this kid? They're not doing anything different than they're doing for the other kids. He just is gonna figure stuff out faster, right? And yeah.
I like the whole conversation though about he thinks that the jelly beans are to tell what his personality is from the color, and she's like, no, I just like jelly beans. I like that. I thought that was good. And as I said last night, I do think that those whatever you want to call them, pencil holders on her desk look like the dream box that's in the trailer. So I think that's a little foreshadowing there. Now we also meet.
Now can you go back?
Yep. Which one?
Well, so it's not in this scene, but there are many times where we're looking at these people's desks, and I'm like, look at that ancient phone on their desk.
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't have anything on the desk.
It doesn't have the picture. These are very like these are scenes where we see a lot of anachronisms, but I don't see it here.
Yeah, you're right, and I would like to know, and I'm wondering if this is something that may not be answered, if this is supposed to take place in a certain time or it's just to make it feel uncomfortable to the viewer. Because obviously the book was written a little bit ago, so I don't know if they just put it in the same time as the book, because the book isn't that long ago though, right? So
that's why I looked it up. I looked up 2019. I was shocked because I was like, oh, maybe this book was written in like 1950.
Okay, so they're an anachronism.
Stephen King's been around forever, and I thought maybe it was an older novel, and that's why it had some of these anachronisms in it. And then I was like, no, 2019. Like these are, I mean, just that doesn't mean King didn't like place it in his mind at a certain time, right?
Yeah. I just would like to ask why they decided to do that, because sometimes they do it simply for the kind of feeling it evokes. And I mean, they do later have cell phones, so it can't be too far back, although they've had cell phones for a long time. It just sometimes doesn't feel like
this is like Severance. They talk on cell phones and then they drive ancient cars and have like ancient microwaves and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And the directors and Ben Stiller has said they just did that to sort of throw people off. It's not really any part of the story.
Yeah. So I guess I'm curious if it's important or not here, because you do kind of notice it sometimes. Okay, so then we also meet. What's her name? Wendy. I don't have my list.
Gullickson is her last name.
Wendy Gullickson. Who is kind of annoyed with, not kind of, she is annoyed with Tim just because he's, the new guy and they're kind of their own little tight-knit group, and she doesn't know what to make of him, I guess, since he's a big town cop. Yeah, I like her. I like the police chief too, though. I don't really dislike any of them. I don't necessarily like that, what's his name, Drew, the other deputy, or not deputy, but whatever they are. I guess they're deputies.
Deputy.
That he's giving all the credit to for saving the guy's life later. He's a little annoying, but other than him.
That's way later, yeah.
All right, and we're also introduced to Annie that Tim meets and connects with, and she tells him all kinds of conspiracy theories. I keep wanting to say, what do you think, AJ? But AJ already knows everything. So
one thing I wanted to say before, but then you guys got going and went off left. But since we're back to Tim, there is one huge difference that the show has done, and I guess maybe they did it. I'm not really sure why they did it, but in the book, Tim starts out in Florida, going to New York, and ends up in South Carolina.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's already in Maine changes it a little bit, and I feel like they kept the same aesthetics for a small town in South Carolina in Maine. So I think that's part of the issue with the aesthetics in this town that they're in.
That's funny that he didn't set the book in Maine, though. I thought he set them all in Maine. I thought that was kind of
No.
I mean,
No, no,
a
no.
bunch of them.
A lot of them are, but
Okay.
there's a lot other places too.
I see. Okay. Well, what do we think about Annie? As I said last night, I think that I don't know that everything she says is correct. I don't think she's necessarily all there, but I do think that she knows things that's going on that other people don't believe, and she's probably right about a lot of them, and nobody will listen to her. But yeah, maybe not quite all of them. I think some of what she says is a little out there. But I like Annie.
Well, how do you guys think Annie knew his mother? The thing his mother said to him.
We had to talk about this last night.
I think kind of one of the prevalent theories, and definitely what I thought, is that maybe she used to be one of the kids from the Institute, and maybe they do let them go, but it clearly affects them, or maybe she got away, but she's messed up, or the drugs did something that messed her up. I don't know, because it's definitely, to me, that was my first thought, that she clearly has TP of some sort.
I disagree very strongly. I think that, she has some sort of telepathic ability, but I don't think she has anything to do with the Institute. I think she's just a lady that, has this like ability she doesn't even maybe know about, right? That she's always had. And it's just the Institute's bad luck that she shows up in this town and she can sense these kids. I feel like she's going to sense the kids and be part of Tim, like getting involved, figure it out. But I think she's just a telepathy sensitive person that happens to be around. I don't think that I can't imagine they would, like, if they let you go, that they don't keep tabs on you for the entire rest of your life and know where you are at all times. They can kidnap you out of your room and replicate your entire room and make people think you ran away. I just don't think that you quit working there or quit living there. And I don't think that they lose track of you.
I I figured that if she was that discredited, that she was homeless and nobody believed her, that they didn't have to worry about her either way. So they weren't like worried necessarily.
Okay, that could be it. I'm just saying that a lot of people have the prevailing theory, and I just have another theory. Now,
no, that's good. That's why
my theories turn out to
agree.
Sometimes I'm wrong. Often I'm wrong.
I like Scarlett. She's Donna's long lost sister. Everybody is trying to connect this really hard, aren't they? Let's see. So I don't think we're quite to the other questions yet, because we're not yet to the car coming down. All right. So he talks to Annie and he's kind of trying to figure out what's going on. And then we have the conversation between, I think her name's Michelle, and Stackhouse. Clearly she is not 100% in on whatever it is that went down with Alice's family when they rushed it. And we don't know yet, but she's she's not 100%. I don't think one of them either, clearly, because she goes to her girlfriend, her date, whatever you want to call her, and wants to tell people. So yeah, I don't know. They clearly picked the wrong person, I guess, to hire for the job. But she's one of the snatchers, as I said last night, which I know isn't right, but the snatchers, the kids snatchers.
AJ, long conversation last night about how this guy played Death in Supernatural. Right? Is this the guy who played Death in Supernatural?
Yes.
And he's one creepy looking mother.
Yes.
And I shall never remember his name and just call him Death now for the next 6 weeks.
It works. So then we get to see the Institute from the outside, and we know they clearly are keeping people out by saying that there's a lot going on there, that nobody knows what's going on there really. But here's the family that we thought was, or I thought
looked
was
nothing like.
No, the husband looks similar.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Not at all.
Maybe if you just glanced at it and weren't paying attention, but as you look at him right now, he looks nothing like the father.
Well, no, the other guy has a beard, but he looks. I mean, yes, when you look at them right after each other, they do look different. But when you look at them quick and you don't, I don't know. I thought at first it was his parents. But I do.
And they acquired another kid. There's a lot of conversation about this scene going on in the chat, so we can go through some of these comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought right away that these were parents looking for their kid. I knew they were not Lucas's parents, But I thought, oh, these maybe their parents looking for their kid. And then I was like, wait, you drag your kid with her seeing spell in the back seat, like on your secret mission to break your kid out of wherever. Like, then I started to think maybe they really are just people who are lost. And
but then I said, that's what I said. Sorry.
Yeah. Maybe they're people who are lost, and the point of the scene was to show us what the perimeter looks like and how it's guarded, and to set it up for a later scene.
Right. My only comment was when you said that was, if your one kid was kidnapped, would you really leave your other kid someplace else? So I could see if they were looking for him that they would take her just for that reason. But I don't know that she would act so calm if she was the brother or the sister of somebody who was kidnapped. All right.
So AJ, I don't know if you know who they are, if anyone, maybe. I don't know if you have a comment here on this before we dive in.
They got lost.
You think they got lost? Yeah. Jen was thinking that Frank, now we're going to call him Frank, that Frank was looking for their kid. I'm going to be listening for who has a little sister. Yeah, see if any of the kids on the inside mention a sister.
I mean, there's another important thing, too, in that scene. Did you notice the guy that was holding the machine gun?
Yeah.
He was fidgety as all hell. It's kind of... the scene did multiple things. You know, they kind of used this family getting lost as, while we're following her out of the gate, to show how security is. He was, the security guards, they're not used to, first of all, they're not used to people coming up, and they're not really, I mean, they're most security guards are not that fidgety.
No, they're not. Yeah, they definitely don't want people around. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, that's their job, but he did seem more than like your average security guard. So I live near Fort Meade, which is home of the NSA, and I got like the exit. It says like don't drive up this exit when you go down the parkway, right? But I got
down this exit.
I got off that exit because I needed to turn around. And like, there's a gate, and there's these two army guys, and they're like, "You can't come down here." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm trying to turn around." And they're like, "You got to go back to the next exit and turn around. You can't turn around at the NSA."
Be like, why not? You'd be like, I already read all the NSA stuff in a group chat. It's all good.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'd laugh if you told them that.
Yeah.
Probably not.
I mean, they're legit military. They were much calmer than these two, but yeah, I tend to agree with AJ that it was kind of to show like what this perimeter is like, how it's guarded, and how like fidgety and nervous these guys are, and setting it up for like, I mean, I kind of was wondering if they were just going to accidentally shoot this guy because they were unprofessional and jumpy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
So that brings us to a question. Do you think they paid the parents off or just killed them? That's why she thought this character was the dad, because wouldn't people be looking for their kids and maybe drive to the Institute if they knew about the Institute? I know what I think. What do you guys think?
Well, my only comment is Luke was kidnapped from Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they would know to go to Maine.
The next day. How they would be in Maine the next day, driving up to the Institute. Yeah, good point.
Okay, well, yeah, I didn't think of that. But yeah. I kind of assumed they just kidnapped the kids. I don't think they're ever going to give the kids back. But I did question, are people looking for them? But we don't really see what's going on in the outside world enough to know if they are missing kids or whatever. But yeah, I did at one point also wonder if they were paid off. And that was why, for whatever reason, it felt like maybe they were an adoptive family or something. And that would make a little bit more sense. Like maybe they didn't want to deal with them. So they were like, well, if we get this money, sure, we'll let you have them, type of thing. But yeah, if he was the father of one of them, though, I would think they would know who he was, and they wouldn't, they would be a little bit more get out of here worried. But I don't know, maybe that's why he's fidgety.
I mean, that's fair.
I'm just gonna say this. The Institute is a secret facility that they claim they're doing biochemical experiments or some shit like that. Okay? These children are kidnapped from their beds in the dead of the night. How would the parents have any clue where to look for them?
Well, if you're looking everywhere, you might think it's suspicious, maybe.
But if you're looking everywhere, you would start in Minneapolis and you wouldn't drive to Maine.
Exactly. And it's they don't mention where these other kids are from.
Parents.
These,
Like, look
they
at
don't mention where they don't mention where the other kids are from, but I know when I kidnap people, I take them to a different. I go to different states. I don't do it in the area I'm working in.
So you're saying that all the kids are from different states?
They are.
It could be.
But we don't know that for fact. I'm just saying,
No,
if
it could
I
be.
was a kidnapper.
Jen says, I don't know if the security guard at the bridge would know the kids. That's true. And we saw no camera looking at it to see, like, we didn't see a camera on the inside being like, oh, someone's at the gate. Let's watch this, right? Like,
No,
that doesn't.
I'm assuming there is. Somebody said there's a bogey. That's all I remember. Somebody was like, there's a bogey at the
what?
gate. A
No,
bogey.
the guy, somebody like one of the guards at the gate says we have a bogey. when
Okay,
the
I said I didn't
as
remember
the
who
car
said it.
approached. As the
Somebody
car
did.
approached. What was I going to say here? We were talking about this, whether or not so I think Lucas's. I don't think they kill the parents, but I think Lucas's parents are. I mean, you can't have this rash of kids disappearing and the parents being murdered like all across the country. These things would be on CNN, right? I think mostly they try to make it look like the kid run away or something like that. Maybe they leave a note saying I'm running away. Maybe they just. But I think they killed Lucas's parents because as they are going into the house, one of the guys says, "Oh, if this doesn't go the way we planned, we might have to get wet." Referring to wet work, killing people. And the girl with the short hair, I think, is like, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves or whatever. She says something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then
later
in the episode or the second episode, she says, like, she snaps at Stackhouse and says, well, maybe your bosses should come along and see what some of their decisions, how some of those decisions end up. And I felt like that was another clue that Lucas's parents have been murdered. That's part of the effort to kidnap him. That's what I was thinking.
It could be. Lori thinks so too. Said, I think the parents were killed. That's why it said it was rushed. Yeah, I think something went wrong, whatever, when they were doing it, and that could be the case.
Yeah.
All right. Scarlett also said it would be intriguing if some parents figured out where their kid is. That would be interesting, but I kind of agree it wouldn't. I don't know that I agree with you. Like, it doesn't necessarily make sense they'd kidnap somebody really local, but we don't know. I mean, maybe they're really good at their job.
I also think that's not the show that we're watching. This is about the kids,
know.
not the parents, and we only have 8 or 10 episodes, and I don't think we're going to see anything, the parents on the outside searching.
Probably not.
It's 8 episodes, by the way.
It's 8.
That is, it's 8. Kelly said, I thought they alluded to something going wrong during the snatching, so I was thinking they were dead, but I guess they could be did something else. Yeah, I think that's what they were alluding to. Dead or alive.
There's also a moment where Lucas says, like, well, think of all the people I know and my parents and family and friends. Like, you can't erase everybody's memory. And Sigsbee goes, you'd be surprised at what we can do. And I just kind of took that to mean also, like, he's right. They're not erasing everybody's memory. They have to, like, either they kill these parents or do they have a separate jail they keep the parents in and erase their memories and send out, like that just seems like too much, right? They either set it up to look like the kid ran off or they kill him. And I think killing lots of families would begin to draw attention.
Yeah. I just remember thinking this isn't Men in Black, but that's what it made me think of.
Yeah, it's not.
All right. So let me go back to
if it isn't the parents, then what does this scene serve? Or is it a nothing burger? If so, why?
Other than they wanted to put the front.
It's like we just discussed. It's a nothing burger. It's just to make the scene a little more interesting, to show the ineptitude of the security guards and how fidgety they are.
Did they do anything inept? I mean,
okay, maybe ineptitude isn't the right word, but if things had gotten dicey, the guy probably would have shot everybody at the gate, including his partner.
Yeah. I think it's to set up what's going on externally and what the kids might be up against.
And that too, and to kind of show the outside
how they in and how they can't just escape because there's guards, that kind of thing. I would say would be the other.
Oh my God, there might be conspiracy boards where people have lost kids mysteriously. Oh yeah, I'm sure there. I mean, in real life, there probably are, right? People's kids run away, people's kids disappear.
Yeah, that's why I could see somebody going to a facility like this if it was nearby from where they were kidnapped. If not, then it would.
But nobody knows this facility is there. You would not go to an infectious disease It's an infectious disease lab.
Yeah, they don't know what it is. But if you're like a conspiracy nut like Annie, you might think, "Oh, this."
I mean, it says right on it, this is a like a biohazard infectious disease lab, and then the security says this is an infectious disease place, right, or something to that effect. It's not. There's no nobody. You wouldn't be like, let's go to the secret government shady jail down the street and check it out.
I know that reporter says something later, like there's a lot of conspiracies around it. Like some people think it's like an Area 51.
What reporter? The one that shoots her in the head?
The fake reporter that shot her in the head.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, but she said that. I assume that.
And the thing is, the only one that says anything that might make you wonder is thought to be crazy herself. Annie says to Tim, "I'll tell you what really happens down in that institute." Mm-hmm. And everybody's just like, "Yeah, whatever, Annie."
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, sure, there are plenty of government facilities. Like, look, as I mentioned, the NSA is not that far from me. People talk about what the NSA is doing on that piece of property that you can't go to, right?
Playing golf.
And like an hour and a half the other way is Fort Detrick is in Maryland, where the Army has their infectious disease lab. And, I'm sure there are plenty of conspiracies about them cooking up some COVID inside there or whatever, right? Sure, but I just don't think parents would be like, let's drive all around the country to every Army installation that might be Area 51. I mean, Scarlett has a point. If they kill the parents, then they can steal the stuff in the kids' rooms. But then why make a new non-hold shirt then for Luke, right? They didn't steal Luke's stuff because they would have had the holy shirt.
They took Luke. They already had it. You could tell everything in that room looked newer than what Luke had in his room.
So someone in the chat last night said that in the book, Luke recognizes that his sneakers have been replaced by knockoff sneakers. Does that sound familiar, AJ?
It could be. I mean, that's a minor little thing. I mean, the point is, Luke even says to what's her face there, Sigsbee. He says that he understands the room isn't to make him feel comfortable; it's to make him think they want him to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And everything in that room is clearly newer than his own stuff.
Yeah.
But probably most teenagers who are scared out of their mind might not notice that.
Which is why as soon as he woke up, he looked around and he knew something was wrong.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So now we meet Tony, I think his name was.
I want to punch that guy in the head every
time. I don't think you're supposed to like him, Karen.
But he gets his ear chip. Now, we had discussed last night, is it just a tracker? Does it do something else? I know AJ knows the answer and I know the answer, but that was kind of what.
Have you seen the whole thing, Jamie?
Yeah, because I had to do the junket, so yeah, I've seen it. But
there's speculation that it could be suppressing their powers, it could be trying to boost their powers, or it could just be a tracker.
It is weird for a tracker though, and this is another one, like you said, of those anachronistic things that, like, if it is just a tracker, why wouldn't they just use like a normal little, under your under your top player's skin tracker? Like, why would they go through
or clamp a bracelet that you can't get off? But it's so big. When they tag elephants at wildlife shows, or if you see cows on the farm and they have giant ear tags.
That's just scare them more. Other than that, I don't know.
I mean, I thought it was kind of weirdly
barbaric.
Well, I mean, yes, it's barbaric, but I just thought it was kind of really big and clunky and
maybe they've watched enough TV to know that when they use little tracking devices, people dig them out. So they didn't go that route.
Maybe, I mean, we've seen shows where it's a collar you can't get off your neck. We've seen shows where it's a bracelet you can't get off your wrist. We've seen shows where it's an implant under your skin. If it's a tracker, I don't know why they wouldn't implant it before you even wake up, while you're still asleep there. Like, why?
It's a power move.
That's what
it is. It is. Yeah, you're right. It's a power move.
Intentionally. it's intentionally clunky and painful, and it's all a power move. It's all to mess with these kids.
You would think that they would plant like a chip tracker in them too, in case one of them got, tried to rip
There
it
could
off.
be, if somebody actually figured out a way, if somebody would grew a set and cut their ear off,
They could still have a tracker.
Yeah,
or
you
something.
could just
I kinda
rip it
wondered
right. You
that.
could rip it right out of your. It's
I
on
mean,
your.
for all we know, that thing does nothing, and there's actually, like you said, there's a tracker in their shoulder, and they don't know it, and that's just to mess with them.
Yeah.
Could be. Or maybe it's to track their vitals, or who knows.
Yeah.
But
Did we all feel that Tony enjoys this just a little too much?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
That
and
was
you can tell Tony likes when they resist, because then he gets the beat on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit much. But yeah, he definitely enjoys it, I think.
And to me, the physical abuse and the like sadism is another clue that you don't leave here and go back to your normal life, because you would tell, right?
Albert, your mind's wiped.
If that's real, right? They say they wipe your mind and let you go. I think maybe they just kill you.
Yeah. I said before, I know I said last night, like sometimes I think that if they were really doing what they're saying, that they would be smarter to like try to recruit kids, like, and actually recruit them, because a lot of people would say yes, but definitely if something like that happened, I think they would change their mind. So that's for sure.
Like Professor Xavier and his like X-Men school. Yeah.
Well,
they'd have an easier time.
why? But here's the thing with that. Their tests are inhumane.
Yeah.
So know who's going to volunteer for this, and if somebody's volunteering for this, then people know where they are. I mean, this is not a good group of people.
No.
We have a shadowy figure in episode 2.
Yeah.
That's scary. Either way, Tony likes it too much, and we all hate Tony, and want him to hurt really bad.
Yeah.
All right. So then we go back to Ben, who meets. I'm still going to call him Pendrell.
Him?
He meets Pendrell. I forget what his name is in this.
It doesn't matter. He's the manager of the hotel. His name doesn't.
Norbert.
Nobody.
Yeah, but he has his bearded dragon there. All right. So Annie there's the whole thing storyline part. I don't think this is it yet, where Annie's bothering that woman about her daughter. I think that's a little later, so we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so Michelle meets the reporter. They're going to go back and have sex, go back to the hotel. That's kind of not really something that we need to talk about till we get to that part in the hotel. Sorry, did you have more to say? I just figured the next.
I was just going to say what I said was last night, that if you are a government, if you're a shadowy kidnapper / assassin, and like, why would you ever get involved with a reporter? If a hot reporter starts coming on to you, it is obviously a setup.
Yeah, maybe she thinks she has really strong willpower against talking.
No, it's so. I mean, it was.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
I thought this was really dumb and a really weak part of the story. Like, if we're really reviewing this, like, I thought this was dumb and so obvious, and like, she's really going to get involved with a reporter. And the reporter has already immediately been bothering her, and she's like, "I told you, sometimes I have to go out of town for work." Like, it seems like from the minute they met, this reporter's been asking her questions. It was so obvious. It was so
it was very, very obvious.
It was.
Of course, it's obvious. Of course, it's obvious. That's what reporters do. They ask questions.
Well, I mean, it's obvious that she's interested in you for the story, right? She's like,
Maybe it depends how hot they are and how much you want to have sex with them. I don't know. But yes, I agree. It was pretty obvious that something was up there. I agree with that. All right.
So it's obvious to us because you guys suspect everything and everybody.
That's fair. That's true.
Parents suspects the poor innocent children that were kidnapped.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
so we have George and Iris, who George is a TK, and Iris, I don't know, but George is a TK because they're betting on whether he's TP or TK. But George can move a water glass. And this is where they say they can't, at least the people here have not grown strong enough to move more than 8 pounds. So it isn't very helpful no matter what. And then we also meet Nikki, who has a broken finger because he fell. I'm assuming it was probably from Tony, but we really don't know.
So I don't love this character either. I think he right now seems to be, the kids are all pretty thin and stereotypical. Like, they seem to all kind of match a certain kind of stereotype of the bully, the smart kid, the sexy girl, the nerdy kid, right? Like they're like the crazy, like I was like, can I match these 5 to the Breakfast Club? To me, they feel very stereotypical and not well characterized. I know it's only episode 2 and it might come, but these kids don't really stand out for me. And it took me like the entire watching 2 episodes and listening through the entire deep dive last night before I could like reliably remember their names.
That's fair. I mean, we don't really learn a lot about them anyway yet. This is just
AJ in the book, are they
how they can have alcohol and everything.
Are they similar in the book? The personalities and the characters?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. We have her killing Michelle, which we just talked about, and Stackhouse cleaning it up. We have Sigsbee leaving, and this is where I said my first thought was like, she's got to have a boss and isn't in charge, or they wouldn't be checking her bag. And I know Karen kind of disagreed with that a little bit.
There's no way any security procedure is like everybody has to get searched except the boss. There's no, first of all, you'd be a shit boss if you were like, the rules don't apply to me. I just don't see,
even if it's like a secret evil conspiracy place.
I just don't see a security plan where not everyone has to obey the security rules. It just, and of course she has.
I just figured that was.
Of course she has a boss. Everyone has a boss, right? Like, and she's only the administrator. She's not the medical director. Like, she's co-boss with the medical guy. But of course she has a boss. But I really think that of course every single person gets searched when they enter and exit, and it wouldn't be like, oh, everybody except the CEO has to have their bag checked.
All right, fair enough.
I
just figured that's what it was implying, which is.
I mean, it could be that they have shit security in this place, but you know,
could be. All right, now we have her going home, and she burns her leg, and we talked, I think, about this a good bit last night. She clearly seems to enjoy it. Yeah, so she's a masochist or whatever, and she's.
That
was what I took out of it, but I know that isn't necessarily the case. That was what I took out of it.
I'm not sure that I saw her face to be enjoying it when she did this, and I don't know.
I thought it was homosexual with the way she was acting.
I don't know that she's a masochist who enjoys it. We speculated that she might be racked with guilt. People who are depressed, people who have like injured themselves, right? Like self-harm is a thing.
It looked almost sexual after she did it, the way she was like singing and dancing around. And I don't know. AJ, do you have a comment? I guess maybe this is in the book, so maybe you can't say, but what did you think?
She's self-inflicting pain because maybe deep down she feels bad what they're doing to the children.
Maybe. I mean, that's what I thought, that she's like, somebody in the chat last night suggested it was like the self-flagellation that you see in is it in Angels and Demons, or is it in the Dan Brown book?
Da Vinci Code.
It's in the Da Vinci Code, right? I mean, that self-flagellation is a religious thing in that case, but like punishing yourself for your sin kind of thing, right?
Or maybe she has a mark for every child that they bring to the Institute.
Oh.
That's interesting. She'd have quite
Just
a
thought
lot.
of that now. Yeah. Just thought of that now.
Yeah, quite a lot if that's the case, but she's got a few at least.
This is another scene where she has an electric stove with burners. It's not even a glass top. It's like an old-time electric stove. She's listening to music on a turntable, which, yeah, turntables are a thing, and turntables, the sound is better, according to many people, on a turntable. And she has an old phone with a cord. Like, there's just a lot of like anachronistic tech in this scene also. Some people say maybe the Institute doesn't have any money for their staff buildings because she lives on the compound, right? But this was like just another scene where I was like, look at these old appliances and this old technology, and like I mean, maybe she's not allowed to have anything that is digital or could connect to the internet or transmits a signal. Like maybe they're not allowed, right? But, except they have cell phones, right?
Yeah, they do have cell phones, so yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it does seem out of place. I will agree with that. All right, so then we get a bit about Tim. That wasn't really important. Then we get their conversation where he wants to know if Luke's who he's waiting for because he needs somebody who does not believe the lie that they're going to get out of there and that wants to try to escape. And that is the end of episode 1. And we need to move along a little quicker here.
Oh, thank you, Real Cinema. Real Cinema also does not feel a connection with these kids. I mean, they need to click. They need to come a little further to click, I think, with some of us.
All right, photo. I'm going to switch it to, there we go. I don't know why that one's way bigger, but.
It doesn't look bigger because it's the same. Oh, yeah, it is going out.
No, it's cropped over. It's the way I got it done somehow. Yeah. Close enough. Okay. Okay, episode 2. So they have the birthday party, or not the birthday party, sorry, the
going away
party, which
moving up ceremony.
Yeah, moving up ceremony, which was creepy in a lot of different ways. And this kind of brings back around the idea, is she coming back? Probably not. And yeah, she's going to be taken away. And obviously she goes down a creepy hallway that definitely implies it's not a nice place. But yeah, Iris may not be back.
The only nice person, Maureen, goes with her.
Yeah. Yeah, she goes down. This is Maureen. She goes down the hall with her. And then we have more about them, which is not really relevant, other than Wendy called him. There's Wendy there. Wanted to talk.
She warms up to him a little bit in the scene, which I think is the point.
And this is where we find out there's been people that have been robbing convenience stores. That's basically the whole point of that scene, I think, is to tell us that. And then the speaker that definitely looks older than it should be.
That speaker is right out of Charlie's Angels. That speaker's older than I am, and I'm old.
Yeah, it is really old looking. Now we have the boss. AJ, did you recognize who it was right away?
Jeff Fahey.
Okay.
I knew his voice as soon as I heard it.
Yeah, I did too.
Who is he with in these pictures?
It looks
Can you make them larger?
Yeah, it looks like maybe JFK. I can't tell for sure that one. That one is. Is
that Reagan? Is that Ronald Reagan?
Yeah, Ronald Reagan. It looks like. That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, is Ronald Reagan. So yeah, meeting presidents. He's important, I guess, is the idea there. And he's also religious, clearly, since he has.
I think though it's not is that a rosary? I thought it was like Greek worry beads. I'm not sure that's a rosary.
Maybe it's not. I thought it was a
rosary.
I thought it was a rosary.
Make it larger?
It's a little but it's a little out of focus, so I don't know that it's really gonna.
Can you drag it down a little?
This way?
No, the other way.
That's the end of the picture.
Oh, like I don't see like a rosary should have medals. I don't know if that's a rosary or if it's worry beads, but either way, it's a
some kind
of creepy affectation.
Yeah, definitely. So they want to have more people to work at the place, more snatchers and stuff. And he's like, basically, you have to deal with who you have, and you're not getting anybody else. That's pretty much what that conversation was about. Yeah. And I think that this scene also shows more of the animosity between Stackhouse and Sigsbee. Hold on, I'm closing I need my other text file out.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I don't think there's really much more about that other than, they clearly dislike each other. And they're always arguing and trying to get the other in trouble and that kind of thing. They don't like each other.
Well, this might be one of the several scenes we see where I think is it Stackhouse or Holiday or both of them are arguing that we want to like do PC and Sigsbee's like, no, it's shut down. We're not doing that anymore. We're only doing TK and TP. And they're like, but we can do PC. And she's like, we're not doing it. Right. And so that is like this undercurrent among the three of them throughout the episodes we've seen. Right.
And it seems like they've been told they're not allowed to is the way I read it. So,
yeah.
And we don't know yet. No, we were talking and kind of conjecturing was that precognition, but we're not haven't been given anything yet about that.
I'm sticking with my theory that it means precog. But I also think if your creepy Charlie's Angels rosary bead guy is your boss and he says don't do it, you should not do it, right?
Mhm.
But these guys are determined that they're
they're
going
going to do it anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this is where he takes him in. They're going to do their first dot. What is it?
Shots for dots.
Yeah. Wait. What? Shots for
dots.
Shots for dots. I can't talk. Shots for dots. Okay, so we have the whole thing where he's like, didn't you take the Hippocratic Oath? And he's trying to guilt the guy. It doesn't work. So they inject him to see if he can make his TK stronger. They don't expect him to see dots. And they do make a point earlier of saying not, I think it's George that says don't lie because they can tell if you lie. So, yeah, they're going to try to see if he sees the dots and they're going to try to make him move the, move stuff, and it makes him a little loopy, but he does eventually, I think I have a picture, he does eventually raise, I thought I had one, maybe not. He does eventually raise, there we go, the toolbox there, and then he throws up everywhere.
But he wasn't trying to raise the toolbox. It was a side effect of his emotional intensity, right? He's supposed to be seeing dots.
Oh, I thought he was supposed to do. I thought they were telling him to move something, and the dots would.
Yeah, they wanted him. No, they wanted him to move it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And if he saw dots, it had something to do with what would happen. If
and he kept telling them, he's like, I can't guarantee this is going to happen. He's like, I really don't know how to control it.
On command. Yeah, I can't do it on command. I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would instead love to see somebody pick something up and stab one of them.
And they're giving him some. They give them a shot, like with a ludicrous TV needle that's like 9 inches long. And like if that whole thing went in your arm, it would come out the other side of your arm. But whatever. Look at the size of it, right? We don't know what they're drugging them with. I think that was in Firestarter that they were drugging them to manifest their power. Well, they were drugging the father for sure, right? Although the father, I think in Firestarter got his powers from LSD, maybe, right? I'm not sure, but they give the father a lot of drugs in Firestarter. I don't think they drugged the child. But she's like,
well,
crazy.
In Firestarter, they were trying to subdue their powers.
Oh yeah, they were crazy powerful, the two of them, yeah. And they wanted to subdue them because they couldn't really control them, yeah. I mean, so I don't know what's going on here, but I feel like in these stories, this is not a very original story yet. Inevitably, the evil doctors and hospital and government people, whatever, they're always trying to turn the kids into super soldiers or to weaponize them, right? Like that is the trope in all these stories. And so I'm waiting to see what the part where the speech Sigsbee gives in the beginning where she's like, you're helping your country, you're saving the world. I'm like, oh yeah, because they want to make you into a super soldier, right? Like,
yeah, it definitely seems like it. You're right. That is kind of the usual route. So we'll have to see if it's a little, hopefully because it's Stephen King, it's a little more original, but I guess we'll have to stay tuned and see. So this is where we get the whole thing with Annie, where she's trying to tell the woman, I thought I had a picture of her. I don't. There's a woman, I don't know.
Kelly Sloan, Corey Sloan, her name is Sloan.
That her daughter, we find out later from the story Wendy tells, that she had died in the water at this place they weren't supposed to go. And she thinks there's more to it than that. So she's been bothering that woman, telling her, oh, there's something she needs to tell her. And of course, you don't do that. So she's been harassing her and they're trying to get her to stop. And Drew comes down to be like, you can't do that. And, Tim tries to help, but he's not much help in this instance.
It felt a little bit like it's just because it's the rich lady in town that they want Annie to like back off. And like, I don't know.
Maybe, but I kind of feel like if your daughter died and there was somebody in town that was constantly being like, oh, it's a conspiracy, you probably wouldn't want that either, to be fair.
It's not a crime.
No.
To be fair, though, Annie, it's harassment.
Yeah, she's harassing her.
Maybe it is. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
Because Annie's been a little, it's a little excessive.
I also felt like, and I said this last night, is his name Drew, that little skinny guy? I was like, Drew, the gang is coming. The robbery gang is coming. Why are you bothering Annie? Right? Like,
well, he doesn't know that yet. He's not a precog.
No, but they like already like Wendy already told Tim, be on the lookout. A robbery gang is coming. They know. He knows.
It's the middle of the day. They don't rob in the middle of the day.
Right,
Okay.
whatever. I thought like maybe he had better things to do than it seems like his only job.
I agree.
To, like police Annie.
No, I completely agree.
I agree. All right. So this is where I think where they talk about the dream box. Nikki tells him that George is going to be going in the dream box to have his final test, and if he passes that, he'll get in the front, or he'll go to the back half. And it's, from what he's heard, it drags all kinds of bad shit up from your subconscious, and you have to turn on the lights to stop it. That's all we get. So we get another little piece of that part of the puzzle. Not a whole lot, but George is further along in the program, so he's probably going to be the next one that's going to be taken.
So this, Jamie, now that you mentioned the back half, this feels to me like very Stephen King-y. Like, you know how Stephen King uses like language that is not like, why don't they call it phase 1 and phase 2? They call it back half and front half instead of phase 2 and phase 1. And Night Knocker is kind of made up, and like TP and TK, because telepath is too many syllables for me to say, so I say TP or whatever, right? Like there's a lingo to Stephen King novels sometimes, right? I mean, AJ could probably, and then like Night Knocker, Tommy Knocker, like he has like a.
Well, a Night Knocker that's a real thing.
It's not. I Googled it extensively, and Google only says that it's a thing in Stephen King. I mean, it's a thing, but the word that, like, a night watchman is the word that most normal people would use, right?
Yeah. To be fair, Google AI is not always right, but that is what Google said.
Fair. I shouldn't use Google. AJ probably.
No, I looked it up too and saw the same thing. So it's hard
more than Google does.
Listen, Google AI is a pain in the ass because it lies a lot.
I know.
Yeah, I usually don't look at it. I usually
it's not as bad as Grok, but you know. At least Google AI doesn't give me Nazi salutes.
I'm total anti-AI, which probably I shouldn't have joined the AI committee at the office. Actually, that's why they want me on it, because I'm like the naysayer. But anyway, I do try to skip down and read other returns and not the AI. But fair enough. It is a real job. Night Knocker seems to be a term that, if it's not a term of art that King invented, it's an obscure term that King chose to use, right?
It's an obscure term that's generally used in the South, where in the original novel, he was in South Carolina.
North Carolina. Fair. Okay. Anyway, I do feel like, I mean, AJ, you've read a lot of Stephen King novels. Maybe I'm off base, but I feel like King does have, like,
he does
language that he uses that is not maybe.
It's usually fitting for the setting.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, I'm like back half, front half. Why not phase 1, phase 2?
Yeah,
King doesn't even do his own research anymore half the time.
Yeah, he has like
he has a person that actually does like 90% of his research.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, this is another conversation here about George is going to move on. Like Iris is moving on today. George is soon to move on also.
Yes.
And we got to get out of here.
Yeah. Now we have the creepy ass scene.
This room is crazy. This room is crazy. Do you think this
reminds me of the Labyrinth, though, that scene? I don't know. It still makes me think of that.
I've never seen Labyrinth. Do you think that
How the hell have you never seen Labyrinth?
I know.
I've never seen Labyrinth.
Usually I'm the one who hasn't seen classic stuff. You got to watch it.
That's true. I've never seen it. Do you think that this is stuff from kids who have moved on and they just keep it in here in case they need it for another kid? Like, oh, this one had the same doll. Let's put it in her. Like, this is their storeroom for recreating your bedroom. And this is kids, like kids move on and leave the stuff behind. Why do they keep it? Why not throw it away? There's no way you're going to find a kid who you need the exact same stuff. Or if you think that's how you need a warehouse, not this little closet. I think it was just to be a creepo setting for this very disturbing tete-a-tete that we saw here, right?
Yeah, very disturbing. So they're there to have sex. She definitely seems like she does not like him. So I'm not sure why she's doing it, but it feels like I kind of wondered if maybe there's more to it than they're just meeting for sex, but I don't know.
I mean, haven't you ever had sex with a person you don't like? Maybe you haven't, but many people have sex with people they don't like.
Okay, that's fair. But it
She
seems like
lives-
this is regular. I mean, at least I got the opinion that this is like a regular meeting for them.
Yes,
and they
I
don't
did too.
seem to be very friendly.
But she lives on this compound. So as far as we can tell, her choices are Stackhouse, Holiday, or Tony.
Okay.
Right?
His name's Hendrix, not Holiday. You keep calling
Hendrix.
Hendrix.
You know what? I've been watching a lot of baseball lately, and I'm thinking of Jackson Holiday on the Orioles. But what is it? Hornaday? Hockaday? What's his name? Hendrix. Okay. I mean, she doesn't have a lot of choices of who she can have sex with, but there must be a cook or a janitor or somebody. That security guard seemed like a nicer guy, right? Like,
Yeah.
It did seem like a regular thing. He goes, "Do you have the jump rope?"
Yeah.
I was very creeped out.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything specific, but I'm surprised you guys haven't even, and nobody in the chat either has surmised or at least theorized why they're having sex.
I wondered if maybe for some reason they want her to have a kid, but I was like thinking, I hope they're not going there, and she's too old. I think I don't know.
I thought maybe they hate themselves. That's why they were having sex.
Maybe
like,
having sex ups your TP or TK energy, and maybe they both have powers. Who knows? That would be my only thought.
Like, that's intriguing. Like, AJ is saying, are they having sex for a reason other than you just want to have sex?
Yeah, no,
I have no idea why they'd be having sex other than like
you know what's funny? Until Jamie just said she's too old. As soon as you said that, I was like, she's not too old. And then I just googled how old, and then I just googled how old Mary Louise Parker is, and she's older than I realized.
Yeah, she looks a lot younger than she is, but she's 60. Yes, I think she's past childbearing age generally.
She's too old to conceive a child.
You know what the funny thing is? I'm 50, and then somebody says something about that. Like, I know she's older than me.
No, I meant
she's not that old.
Child, not old. Too old for a child.
No, I know what you meant. But the thing is, I'm 50, and I still have this mentality of people not being that old.
Yeah, no, I get it.
This morning I was watching this. I was watching this strangely compelling show. Have you ever watched Paternity Court?
Paternity Court?
Paternity Court. Yeah, it's kind of like
no.
Judge Judy type shows, except it's people who are like, "Is that baby mine?" And they have a DNA test, and there's a lot of like drama and crime.
See, that's why I miss Maury. That was what Maury was for.
Yeah, and there was a guy on Paternity Court this morning who was saying he thought the baby wasn't his, and he was like, "I'm 48, I'm too old to father a child," and I was like, "What? Men can father?
No, you're not.
To father a child,
no, you're not."
Yeah.
Well, really, I mean, she's not necessarily too old to mother a child either.
Anyway, we should do a deep dive for Paternity Court, but whatever. No, AJ's giving me a lot to think about, and now I'm going to be watching these two because it hadn't occurred to me that they were having sex for any reason other than their demented sex drive. There's the crematorium.
The best part about that scene, though, is she's like, "Did you take the pill?" He goes, "Can't you tell?" She goes, "I don't want to look at it."
Yeah.
I'm gonna have sex with you, but I'm not gonna look at you, which I'm sure does happen as well. All right, so they see the smokestack and they think there's clearly something going on there.
It really reminded me. It reminded me of like. I mean, it reminded me of like World War II movies, concentration camp movies, where the crematorium is like next door. That's really what it made me think of. Like, except there's only like 5 kids. So how many bodies can they be burning? And someone in the chat said, how do you know this is the only 5 kids? There could be 10 floors with 5 kids each. There could be other facilities all around this property with 5 kids each, right? Like there could be more kids involved in this program than the 5 that we have met. It actually would be very inefficient to only kidnap have 5 kids, right? If you're trying to like.
Well, there could be more in the back half. We don't know if it's like the same group.
Okay, but the pipeline seems to be very limited going into the back half, right? Like it was. I don't know who said it last night, but I was like, oh yeah, there could be other outposts and other places that are studying the same thing.
Yeah.
And then they kill you all in this furnace.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I hadn't really, I guess, thought about it at this point. like thought that, oh yeah, it could be that, but that does make a lot of sense. It definitely makes a lot of sense.
Also, like I just looked at those two, the shadow on the left side of the screen. It looks like an unhappy face. It's 2 dots are the eyes, and the line is the mouth, right?
It's a conspiracy. Yeah, it kind of does. That's cool. All right. So the whole point of this scene is that he's saying that maybe they need to recruit somebody, an inside man. But the problem with that is that they can only do it once, and if they pick the wrong person, they're screwed because they'll tell, and it won't work again. So yeah, they're kind of strategizing. What are they going to do? They're still trying to find a way out of there. They say that they need a strong TP that can read the boss's minds or scramble their brains or something to that effect, and that's what they're hoping for. So yeah, that's what that scene is about.
And it's not Lucas. Like Lucas is smart.
No, it's not Lucas. It's
plan, but he doesn't have powers.
Yeah. And then
real cinema. It is just like Severance. Lumen had different facilities with only a few severed people on like the severed floor, right?
Yeah, they kept them separated, so they didn't interact and didn't try to escape as much, maybe, and in this case, like maybe they don't want the kids working together to get out. Who knows?
Well, when Bert leaves and gets replaced, they bring in those new people that are from like when Bert and Helly get replaced, they bring in people that one guy I think said he was in like Italy or something.
Oh, was it in Italy? I thought. Oh yeah, that one guy. Yes, that's right. He wasn't from.
Yeah,
you're right. Forgot about that. So the whole point of this scene is to explain what happened to that woman's daughter, but we already talked about that.
Well, and that was an interesting scene because I had assumed that the daughter disappeared and was kidnapped maybe by the Institute. And then there is an explanation that the kids went swimming and the body's washed up in the river.
Oh. I still wonder if it's possible they dump bodies there and that it could still be something to do with.
There's a long explanation of a rock formation in the river, and the kids call it the red stairs or the red chair, the red stairs.
Red stairs.
And it was strangely specific and detailed. It has to come back, right? It has to be an important thing because she gives a lot of detail about something seemingly unrelated.
Yeah. Either way, that's what she says that woman's daughter died of. So there's the poster, the Shine poster again. Those are the little Easter eggs there.
Time to shine.
Yeah. So then we have this scene with the vending machine, and why doesn't he just take the food out instead of returning the coin each time, which I thought was funny. That was cute. But
it's funny. I was thinking the same thing the whole time, and then Luke actually says it to him.
Like, why not just take it out? Yeah.
George is like, oh my god, like, oh.
It like blows his mind, but he doesn't want to hear it. No. Sorry, I know I'm trying to kind of scoot towards the end a little bit.
It's fine. You should. We've been on a long time.
Yeah. All right, so then we have the robbery in which he saves the Mr. Dobir, I think his name is. I want to say something like that. Yeah, Dobira brothers. He saves him with a diaper and Vaseline in his wound, and because he gets shot by the robber, and it does save his life. But he gives Drew credit. And then we have a couple more scenes with them saying that they should try to do
PC. I want to do PC.
I'm like trying to think the letters in my head. PC. And he's turned the cameras off or the audio off so they could talk. And it's clear that, he's trying to talk him into it. But Hendrix is kind of hesitant, but seems like he might be up for it. And he does say later they might have a buyer for the kid. And so that, let's see what else. That's the whole thing with Drew coming. Okay. Now she's lying to her family. I, for whatever reason, thought that her father was supposed to have had Alzheimer's, but you guys were just like, oh no, she's just lying to her father, which kind of made more sense. I don't know why I thought that when I saw this scene.
She's lying about what her job is and what she does.
Yeah. I don't know. I put too much into it, I guess. Now they're talking outside her house, I guess on purpose, probably. I mean, at least I think Stackhouse is probably doing it.
Well, they all live in they're all in the same. They all have their own houses in that area.
Yeah, I get that now, but I still think he did it so she'd see and get suspicious because they clearly.
Why? They want to do something behind her back. Why would they want to draw her attention and make her suspicious?
I figure they want her to be like worried and stuff and upset. I don't know. That's how I took it. I figured it was on purpose, but I guess it doesn't have to be. But yeah, she is definitely suspicious at any rate. And then we have Avery. who comes in, who is younger than the other ones, but they realize is a very strong TP. And they think that maybe they found their person who can help them escape, because that's what they were
Asking
waiting
ye
for.
shall receive.
Yeah, very strong TP. So, yeah,
I love her description. She's like, I'm single A. This kid's Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he's got quite a bit of power there. So yeah, I think that that's definitely foreshadowing what might be. I shouldn't say definitely, because I don't know, but could be foreshadowing what's to come. That they could use him maybe, because they're trying to escape. So maybe they have an idea now. Yeah.
I guess, I kind of feel like, okay, two things. So snatching a child that young seems to...
You mean?
I mean, wouldn't that bring with it more trouble? Like, that child will be harder to control and deal with than the teenagers who are already a pain in the ass, right?
Yeah, how powerful
10
he is.
to 19. They said the youngest was 10 and the oldest was 19.
Yeah.
So they have done it before.
But this kid is powerful, which is why they grabbed him, I guess. I just feel like they... I don't know. These people are not really good planners, maybe. I just feel like the younger you snatch a child, the harder it is to control them, deal with them, explain to them, whatever, right? But this is a strong kid, and I guess they just felt like they needed the kid.
Yeah, we don't really know much about him yet, other than he can't have Reese's, so I'm assuming he's lactose intolerant.
No, he has a peanut allergy. Like
peanut. Yeah, I guess
Alicia uses her telepathy and is like, don't give it to him. He has a horrendous peanut allergy.
Yeah, I know. Well, I automatically thought of the milk in the candy bar. Sorry, because I'm
like... She says it. It's
no, she just says he can't have it. She doesn't.
She says he is allergic.
She says allergy.
Oh,
she says he's allergic.
Well,
it's got to be the peanut butter. It is the most common. It is a super common allergy. It's got to be the peanut butter.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I heard it. I immediately thought lactose intolerant. But yes,
I'm not aware. Can lactose intolerance kill you?
I wouldn't think of lactose intolerance as that's not an allergy.
Well, they give you a test for it sometimes when you get allergy tests. So
but it's intolerance. It's not an allergy. At any rate, she intuits this from her own telepathy.
Yeah. And that's where she says he's stronger than any.
I mean, I assume it's easier for her to read the mind of another mind reader.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he also was looking directly at her, so he was kind of feeding it into her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She also can only read things that are at the forefront of your mind. And maybe when they tried to shove a Reese's peanut butter cup at him, in his mind, he was like, shit, I don't want it. I can't eat that. And that's why she picked it up, right? Like she says she can only pick up what you're actively thinking of.
Yeah. Or like surface thoughts, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So any more thoughts at the end of these episodes? I mean, I do. I don't know if I have much to add. I told you guys how I feel. I'll watch it again. I don't have a kid to root for. Like, Lucas is the kid we're supposed to root for and get behind. And he's maybe the more fleshed out character, but these kids are pretty thin as characters right now.
Hold on.
I don't
know
what
you're telling me. I get what you're saying. At this moment, the kids are kind of one-dimensional. However, how are you not at least rooting for these kids to get away from these mean scientists?
I mean, I am.
Okay, and then there you are. You are rooting for them.
I don't want them to be
rooting against the scientists than it is rooting for the kids.
I'm rooting against the scientists for sure.
Okay.
Yes, I don't like want them to be tortured. I just don't really have one that I'm like, oh, I really, right? Like, they're just, I like them because the story is setting them up as protagonists.
You should like them
because I have a connection with any of them. Yet it's only been 2 episodes, but there's only 6 to go, so I need some characterization in the next 2 or
right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody in the chat. Pleasure as always.
Always. Next, is this coming 1 week now from now on?
Yes, it's once a week.
My knowledge.
Yes.
Right, so we will have a shorter review next week because it'll be 1 episode.
Well, we also, it did take longer because of that. But
Yeah.
thank
Well,
you
yeah,
everybody
'cause
for
it was 2
listening
episodes.
to our review. And if you do want to hear us go deeper into it, you can listen to our stream from last night on our live stream, which is our deep dive version. And meanwhile, in about 11 minutes, you can join Scarlett and I for our Midnight Murderbot for our finale episode. Yeah, and we'll be talking about that. And
I actually like that this week
we'll
too.
be back. Yeah, and then the 3 of us will be back tomorrow for Fandom Access to talk about a lot of different shows.
A slew of stuff, mostly. Yeah.
Yes. I'm gonna go back and watch the rest of Ironheart. And Scarlett and I also we're doing a couple episodes to catch up tomorrow, not until 1 a.m. because we will be done by 1 a.m. I'm assuming you guys don't want to stay past 1. But I know last week I made it too early. We're gonna start Nautilus so we can get through a little bit of that. So yeah, lots of stuff. And then next Monday, just a quick FYI, next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we have Luke Boyce, who is the showrunner of Revival, who will be coming on our show to do a live interview. So
Our show, your show with
my
Lori?
show, sorry, I say my show, Sci-Fi Vision with Lori on Real Cinema Therapy. Sorry.
Yeah, just as opposed to like the 3 of us.
As opposed to Phantom Access, yes. Although you guys are welcome to come, of course.
We're replacing Karen with Lori.
Yeah, no, no.
I went on vacation and I lost my seat.
I did say R, but yeah, it's for our Revival Redux show that he'll be on because he joined our chat last on Friday when we were talking. He showed up and started. He was watching our show and talking to us, and that was really fun. So I'm like, you need to come on, and he's like, yes. So that was great.
All right, so we're gonna say goodnight. Jamie, can we stay on for a second in the studio and talk for a second?
Yes, I am going to go get ready, but feel free.
No, I want to talk to you for a second before you go get ready.
Okay.
Well, all right. Good night, everybody.
Everybody.
Good night, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you in a bit. Bye-bye.
Bye.